and welcome to Parentology. I am Choni Selden, your host. Today I am joined by Tsokye Karchung, a person who has won the title of Miss Bhutan, and she's also won multiple awards for her roles in comic and in leading in the film industry. I've been meaning to invite you here since you became a mother. I'm just glad that you're finally here. Your son is now a year and 6 months.
6 months, yes.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
him, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Thank you. I just wanted to, before I begin, I just wanted to thank you. And from what I understand, I think the inception of this program began when you as a mother, yourself, you were facing a lot of challenges. So I was just thinking about it, and it's inspiring, to see a mother turn her challenges into a program.
Oh.
So that was really inspiring. And I thought, wow. So I just wanted to congratulate you and also thank you for giving women this platform, turning your challenges into a platform where mothers can come together, share their experiences, learn from each other, because motherhood is the toughest thing I've done. So now I understand,
You're going to make me cry. It's okay. But this is the most emotional opening. Thank you so much. Those are very sweet words. And I mean, my daughter is now 4, and I still get emotional thinking about my first year as a mother. And like you said, it was it was the toughest thing I ever signed up for. I did not even know what I was signing up for. And which is what birthed Parentology. And I'm so glad you agreed to come here, because you have said no to a lot of appearances. And we will talk about why as we go. But first, let's talk about you as a mother. How was your experience as a first-time mom?
Like I said, it was overwhelming for me, especially with the pandemic. And I'm already I have a lot of high anxiety. And this was a planned baby. I knew what I was getting into. I signed up for it. So the 9 months was okay. But after the 9 months, the post-delivery, my hormones were going up and down. I was tired, physically tired. The pandemic, the news, it started getting me. And for me, it was very challenging, because then I slowly got into the postpartum depression. So to cater to a baby, a change in my life with the pandemic, I think the perfect recipe for postpartum. So
you had it all the ingredients
I had it all
in there.
going on, and then of course I lost a very close person. I lost somebody, and I was grieving, and I'm still grieving. It was a process, So grief with responsibility, with the pandemic, everything, I felt like the carpet under my feet was just swiped out. So I lost ground, I almost felt, and then that's the postpartum came along. And this is the reason why I agreed to come to your show. And I have not made appearances in many shows, and I've, because I thought, this what you were doing as a mother, like you turned your challenges into something, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want the story of my postpartum to just stay in 4 walls. I wanted to come out, and I wanted to talk about it, so that if my suffering, what I went through, the challenges I faced, if it can give a little hope to a mother who's watching right now, then I feel my story had a purpose. You see, so we must suffer, but there must be a purpose. So that's why I agreed to come to your show, and it's something close to my heart. So
I'm very honored to have you on my show, and you've always given this image of someone who knew what she wanted in life. Then you became a mother, right? Do you feel like motherhood has changed you?
Oh, motherhood has changed me. Especially with the postpartum. When you deal with the postpartum, you're dealing with depression, which the cause may be different, but the symptoms are the same. For somebody having another problem, the cause may be different, but the symptoms are the same. It's a mental struggle, an emotional struggle, and sometimes there are days when you don't want to show up. You can't get out of bed, and there you have a responsibility that you can't shrug. So it's changed me. It's broken me, but I'm rebuilding again. So I had the opportunity, because once you hit rock bottom, once you hit ground zero, the only way out is up. So I'm rebuilding myself emotionally and mentally and physically as well, because what a mother goes through after, with pregnancy. And it's changed me a lot. It's I have found weaknesses that I never knew I had. And through those weaknesses, when I'm able to change the weaknesses into strength, I find power that I never knew I had. And I've definitely matured overnight, I feel, And now I know, yes, the focus has come. I know what I want. Many things are external, My work could go wrong, things could go wrong, but I know that my number one focus is I have to be there as a mother, as a parent, and I have to teach my son by example. So I have to live a good life. I have to show him the way, help him become a beautiful human being. So for me, that's my focus now.
I see.
So now my focus has narrowed.
I see. So you have a clear goal.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that you were broken down. Say you struggled, especially as a first-time mother. Say, how did you find yourself out of it, or how did you find the strength to still fight it if you are? Because a lot of the times the struggle isn't over in months or years.
Yes.
It's kind of ongoing, especially as long as you have a child with you. It's kind of ongoing. So how did you find the strength to
rebuild myself?
Rebuild yourself.
By the fourth month, the postpartum depression started creeping in. I started feeling very overwhelmed. I couldn't look after my son. I couldn't sleep. And of course, the feeding already puts you off schedule. I think my hormones were going berserk. And then all of a sudden, I just broke down. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I felt very, very weak. And I had a lot of panic attacks. I had a lot of panic attacks and phobias. At that moment, like if anybody's gone through a depression or an anxiety, you will understand that in that moment, people can give you advice, people can teach you concepts, theories about meditation. You just can't focus. You just can't focus, and it just doesn't seep in. I told myself, what do you want me to do? And it told me to move. It told me to walk. It felt stagnant. It wanted movement. So then one day I just got up at 4 a.m. and I started walking. It was raining. Just walked. And all of a sudden I started feeling better. Oh, wow. I think something happens with the brain, you see. So then I realized, okay, I need to stick to walking. Then I needed to go to the doctor definitely, because there's some things you can't walk off. You can't control. So then I went to the doctor, and then I had to go on medication for anti-anxiety and panic attacks. And then I started the inward journey. Once you have the medication, then you have a tool, a weapon. So I would suggest people, get help. You have to get help. You can't do it on your own. People say it's one day at a time. I reached a point where it wasn't even one day at a time, Cho. It was hour at a time. Wow. I just had to gather myself hour at a time and keep reminding myself to be positive, and it will pass. You just have to stick it out. You just have to be like a warrior, and you just have to stick it out and stare at it like the storm coming and just be ready. And that's all you can do, stick it out, And it does go away, it gets better.
Yeah. The journey, the struggle, the battle is inside of your head, and you expect people around you to maybe understand you. But it's great that if they understand it without you having to ever verbalize it. But a lot of the times it has to start with you asking.
Yes. You have to reach a moment, a time where you've had enough. That's only when you stand.
Oh. So for you, there was a moment where you were like, okay, fine, I
cannot live with myself anymore. See, I wasn't liking the person I'm becoming. I'm supposed to enjoy this baby. I'm supposed to enjoy motherhood, and I couldn't feel the joy. And I said, enough, how long is this going to go? Because I have a choice, you see. Okay, a lot of things happen in life, but you have the power to choose. So then I started doing this meditation where I watched my thoughts, I watched my mind. And now I realize so many of our problems is created by our own thoughts and our own mind. We are slaves to our mind. See? So then I said, no more. I don't want to be a slave to my mind. I want that power back. So I'm going to practice. I'm going to discipline myself. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and that's going to be my number one goal.
Wow.
Everything else is
Secondary.
Yeah. So first, I'm going to fix myself. So that's where I think the real power comes. And then that's where you start to heal.
I see.
Because then you reach a point of acceptance as well. You know, you're aware, accept. These are really important, I think, in the healing stages.
Yeah.
You have to accept that you have a problem. Because without accepting, you're never going to heal.
I guess, yeah.
So you first accept, you have that awareness. And then this meditation really helped me, like watching myself, watching my thoughts. Then I have the choice to either believe my thought or to say, oh, the monkey brain is just working again, and rewire it, you know. So after a depression, I think you have to rewire your brain, and it's difficult, Cho. It's being a mother and having to do that. It's difficult, it's draining, you know.
Yeah, you're trying to tend to a newborn, a whole human being who depends on you for everything. Meanwhile, you're trying to fix yourself. And you do need fixing, you do need help. So it is, your brain is thoroughly exhausted of entertaining all these thoughts while providing for your child, that it thinks it's exhausted, it's tired. But your body hasn't done much. It's breastfeeding. It's
sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights. It's not doing much.
You're just sitting there half the time with the baby. So
it wants that exercise. And I think
for me, that was a relief. I found, I don't know, I thought I found magic. You know, I was rejoicing. You know, because I actually had to sit with myself and ask my body, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do you want from me? You know.
A lot of the times we focus the importance of exercise for pregnant women. We forget to stress the afterbirth and the importance of exercise. Then
for the mental health.
Wow.
Because I think when you're moving, the brain rewires itself, and there's something that happens there.
I was watching this documentary on Netflix that a couple of years ago, and now I'm not a science student, so I might mess up some of the names, but the structure of the brain actually changes in the primary caregiver. In most cases, that's the mother. So the structure itself changes.
Exactly.
There's a thing at the back of the head, I think it's called the amygdala. It opens up. It makes you more aware of things, which is why we can't fall back to sleep. As soon as after we breastfeed, that father's thing, we breastfeed here and we turn around and we're done. We're back to sleep. It's not. While we're breastfeeding, we're thinking, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I didn't do this. And then the baby's passed out. He's full and he's asleep. And you're still thinking because you can't.
And then the next feed comes and you haven't even gone to sleep.
And you're thoroughly tired. And that is because the amygdala opens up, making you worry more. Aware,
very aware.
Yeah. What was your initial thoughts when maybe the doctor told you that you have postpartum depression? So what was going in your head? What did you think?
Actually, I already I tried to fix myself first before I went to the doctor. So I already knew a depression was coming. I because I've been through it before, but nothing like this. You know, this was the worst I felt because I had to cater to a baby. I just couldn't shrug it off, you know. So I already knew I was now getting into a depression because there were days when the weather would affect me. I was not able to get out of bed, and I was not able to cater to my son, and breastfeeding became hard, and everything became a challenge. And then you feel guilty because as a mother, I felt I failed, you know, that part I failed, and I couldn't be there for him to meet his basic needs sometimes, you know, because the demand, the supply of the, you know, so that gets you, and then that just rolls in your head, and then you're on a guilt trip, and then it's a disaster, so many things, you know, and then you get paranoid, and the pandemic really didn't help because I was so paranoid that I looked after the baby myself. I had strict protocol in the house. I didn't want help coming in because a day worker would come in, and I don't know where the day worker would have been or whether the day worker was responsible enough to wear a mask and wash their hands, and you know, So for me, I had to protect my baby at the same time, fix myself. So it was so difficult for me.
How was your husband's reaction, or how did he play his part in being a father? This is his first child too, and then to see his wife go through postpartum depression. How did he deal with it?
He was actually hands-on. He said, "Don't worry, you fix yourself. I'll take care of the baby." And he did. You know, he literally got involved, and he helped me so much. And I used to be thankful every night, and I used to say, I'm so broken, but I have this person who's going to look after my baby. I felt, you know, very comforted, and he was there for me.
Your family and your husband, in this case, did they understand postpartum depression?
They understood. They understood because I've had episodes of depression before, and my father's gone through a depression himself in the, I think, early 80s, where there was no help, and so he's got the skills. He knows what it is all about. So he was there to really help me, and my family has been my biggest support system, you see. Without my family and the support system, I don't know whether I'll be here today. And I think it's sad because I know that they are as lucky and blessed as I am. There are many women who are going through this without a husband, you know, without a family. Sometimes a woman is going through it without a man acknowledging that it's even his child. And so imagine what other women are going through, and it breaks my heart because I've been there, and it's painful, and you can't do it alone. And no wonder some women just start drinking, and you know, they just take the wrong way because there's nobody to give her the support
and the guidance they need. Some mothers are young. There are some young mothers who definitely need the support.
Yes,
and the
I was just talking to
guidance.
some young mothers recently, and I can tell that they're feeling it, like the postpartum depression, and I told them that they should go get help because you see, any change in life brings about discomfort. Any change. So when you are tackling a change, you feel there's a lot of it's very uncomfortable. So for a young mother who's out of college and just had a baby with no planning, and all of a sudden her life stops, and then she's telling me that she's on social media, she's looking at her friends who are living normal lives, what she was used to. Now she can't move. She's all alone in the house all day. She's the only caregiver. You see, it gets to it gets to women.
What is something that you cherish and love about being a mother?
That I can love somebody with no conditions. I think that is the most beautiful thing. You love so many things. You love your family. You love your husband. Something upsets you. You're like, you know. So a lot of conditions to love. And with my son, it's just unconditional love. It doesn't matter. I just have love for him. And I think it's the most beautiful feeling I've felt. It's warm, you know. It makes me happy. And there are days when I feel very challenged. Like, say, example, I tell myself, Cho, like when I'm having a very bad day and an episode where the grief, the depression, everything comes together, I don't tell myself I'm having a bad day. I tell myself I'm having a character building day. So build it up, you know. So now I'm looking at things that way. And then for me now, after going through all this with my son has been like my greatest teacher. My blessing. He's changed me. I've become a better person. I've gotten to know myself, Cho, for the first time. I've really gotten to know myself. Before I didn't know who I was. You know, maybe people thought I knew. I figured it all out, but no. My son brought that insight into me, and he's made my life very simple, very focused. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I chose to be. I'm blessed that I can. So my life and our schedule is very simple. It's just being out there for him all day, teaching him, playing with him. I like that life.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that life.
I wanted to ask you, do you see yourself coming back into the films?
Hard question, because for the moment I wouldn't know how to answer, because I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I want to be with my son. And when I went through that postpartum depression, my perspective on many things changed. So importance changed. So movies don't feel so attractive and so important to me now. At one point it used to be my life. Now it's not anymore. And there's a great freedom in that as well. Just to be me, you know. So I'm enjoying this moment, and even if I come back, I want to now make more movies that are meaningful, maybe slow, maybe not so commercial. It doesn't matter whether it's a commercial hit. I just want to use this life, this body, to create stories and help others, you know.
You are another human I'm meeting who has attributed a big shift in her career due to her role as a mother at home.
You know, I realized we may not be having time.
Exactly.
So why would I want to waste my time on something that was not so important to me? Just for the fame, just for the money, maybe not so much now.
A lot of the times the first child changes the dynamics of the marriage. Has that happened to you after the birth of your son?
Of course, because now I see my husband more of as a partner, like my team. We are a team for him. See, so there's a lot of teamwork, a lot of communication, a lot of we time. Before it used to be like, okay, you know, we do our own thing. We're together, but you do your own thing. But the unity and the responsibility, the shared unity and shared responsibility for my son. So it has changed the dynamics.
Is there a certain way of parenting that you think you would adopt?
At the moment, I'm, you know, my son has just come to the world. He wants to explore. He's fascinated with everything. So he wants to touch everything. He wants to, for me, as long as he's safe, I'm strict with him if it's safety concerns. But other than that, I want him to explore. I want him to understand. And I never really say, no, you can't do that. If I tell him no, then I explain to him and I literally show him why it's a no, because it's going to hurt you, so that he understands. So I want to build this relationship with him. I want him to understand, you see. So it's not just because I'm shutting him off saying, because I'm irritated, no, don't touch it. No, I don't want to do that. I want to start off right, you see. So for me, that's my parenting style.
Would you ever do this all over again?
Of course.
Yes?
Of course, yes. No doubt, definitely. I would go through it all again. I would go through my depression, another pandemic. I would do it again because it's made me grow, Cho. And nothing has made me grow more than this. So for me, I'm all yes to growth, yes to pain, yes to downfalls. I've become yes to change now.
What are some of the resources that you fell back on? What did you look up on the internet, or maybe books? Who are some of the inspirations that has rebuilt you?
So many. I've always read so many Buddhist books. I have a whole beautiful collection of spiritual Buddhist books. And so I had all my books. And then, of course, I watch everybody. Like, I watch Sadhguru, I watch Eckhart Tolle, then I watch Mingyur Rinpoche. I read every spiritual teacher. I try to absorb as much as I can. Dzongsa Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche himself. I've read all his books. So everything is all there. But I've read these books before, but each time I read it, and with each life experience, the understanding deepens. You know, that's the secret in the book. Then I started the meditation, like I told you, to watching myself. Be the observer. Be the silent observer. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't try to push it. Don't try to cling to it. You just watch it without a dualistic mind, they say, right? So it's very hard in the beginning. it gets tiring as well. It's tiring, like you're depressed and you're trying to do that. It's really tiring, and then you get irritated. I used to get irritated at books. I used to get irritated at all this. And I say, I'm not going to do it. And 3 days I'll cut it off. And then again I'll do it. So you have to know when to run, when to come back. Because if you're overdoing it, then you're again on the extreme.
Yeah.
You see? So you have to know how to strike that balance.
Do you meditate on a daily
Yes,
basis?
yes,
every day. Yeah.
yes,
How,
every
for
day.
how long?
I just do it I do it everywhere, Cho.
Oh.
I'm telling you, because for me to sit still during my depression, even that 5 minutes was restlessness. I just felt restless, So I would do it when I'm sleeping in bed, I'll do it for 10 minutes. Then I'd walk, I'd do it for 10 minutes. I do short, but more.
I see.
And I felt that was more effective for my depression. Instead of 1 hour a day where I say, I have to sit here. No, it was like I drive, I do it.
Wow. I think that is more practical too, because a lot of the time you can't take out a whole chunk of time to just
as a
meditate.
mother.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't tell my son,
Yeah.
go away, I'm meditating. No. So sometimes even when my son is taking a nap, it's a good time for me to meditate. I use it, even when I'm cooking for him, I just do a 5 minutes or a 10 minutes while I'm cooking, So I think for people like us, young people, modern, we're working, everybody's busy, I think this would help. And Cho, I think there's great freedom when you understand that you are no longer your mind or your thoughts. For a depressed person, it's just freedom.
I see.
You see, so you have to, you have to train yourself, and I'm just a beginner myself, but even that much has given
helped you immensely.
Oh, yeah.
It has given you a new perspective too.
And I'm off medications, and I just took it in the worst period, for 6 months or 5 months, because I just couldn't handle it. And then after that, I let it go, because I realized that is also an external thing that I'm depending on, right? So I have to go within.
What is one advice you'd give to new moms who are on the verge of a mental breakdown, or who are struggling with postpartum anxiety or depression? What is one advice?
First thing is get help, medication help, and start walking. For me, that really helped. Start walking. You may not be able to do the gym exercises but just walking every day, to have that discipline. And I would also say you have to have a schedule. I think a schedule simplifies things, puts you in order when you're out of order. So these are the practical things that helped me.
I see. Tsokye, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you for having me, Cho. And like I said, I think it's inspiring to see a mother do this, take what was difficult into a platform where you could help others. And I think that's, it takes a lot of courage. And I wanted to congratulate you for your bravery. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I hope mothers all over Bhutan watch this and it helps them, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Tsokye. Thank you so much. I am also very glad that I work in a profession where it allows me to make shows like this. So, thank you so much. And the viewers, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.